You don't like to talk about life insurance. You don't like to think about life insurance. Well, it's important. Hey there, Ken or French. I'm going to help you today talk about life insurance. The one thing I'm going to say is it's going to add some value to you. Hey there, if you recall, this is the 12th installment of the Entrepreneur's Ultimate Toolkit presented by VastSolutionsGroup.com. This is the 12th and final installment, and we've gone over everything from the idea formation of an entrepreneur in his business or her business, all the way to tax savings, all the way to marketing, all the way to putting together partnerships, all the way to trust. Now we're talking about the last and final component for an entrepreneur, and that's, in our view, life insurance. So this journey, if you will, again, the Entrepreneur's Ultimate Toolkit presented by VastSolutionsGroup.com really will help any business owner from beginning to end in their journey in entrepreneurship. Let's get straight to it. As you consider the wide range of life insurance that would be available, you may wonder what type really fits your needs. What really fits your needs? And specifically now, a good first step is to ask yourself why you're buying life insurance and how will it help you personally. You don't want to enrich the insurance salesperson. What you want to do is think about how you can help the beneficiary, your kids, maybe a college if you want to donate money to a college as an example, or maybe you want to put in money for your life insurance to provide tax-free income. Whatever it is, we're going to go over some specifics that hopefully will add value as you listen to this podcast. What is whole life insurance? We just had a client, he's worth approximately $100 million, a little bit over, and he had no clue of the various different life insurance policies he had purchased. So, and one of them was he didn't understand what his whole life policy was. Now let's go over that. Whole life insurance helps provide not only security from financial hardship in the case of a death, but also provides income on a tax-free basis as cash value that links insurance protection with savings, premium dollars paid. It contributes to the combined program. Premium payments first pay the cost of the pure insurance company, frankly, profit to the insurance company in some cases, also the agent. It also includes expenses and mortality factors of the insurance company, the company that invests the, quote, leftover dollars to build the policy's guaranteed cash value. In addition to the guaranteed cash value buildup in the policy, policyholders are provided with a regular what's called a dividend payment. Results of lower expenses, lower mortality rates, and higher investment results were predicted when premiums were set. Dividend payments is what they're called. Another whole life insurance feature is predictability of expense. Premium payments at inception of the policy will not change and will continue until the policy endows, which is when the cash value of the policy equals the face amount. Or an accelerated payment plan may be chosen, which permits payments of premiums later in life out of withdrawals from the dividend balance rather than out-of-pocket costs. Now, the final feature to consider is the value of the whole life as what's called a creditor. If necessary, funds may be borrowed against the cash value of the policy at any time, but outstanding loan balances will be deducted from the death benefit in the event of a death of the insured. There are numerous variations of whole life insurance as they were originally conceived. There's universal whole life. There's just a number of different ones. We're not going to go over the specifics, but if you are interested, just get in touch with us at 888-808-8278 or check us out on the web. We have some articles that we've written at www.vastsolutionsgroup.com, as a matter of fact, about all types of specifics as it would help entrepreneurs, also insurance, investments, etc. Let's go over it as term insurance, which is pure protection from your dollar. As the name implies, term insurance provides pure insurance protection for a specific time or a term of time. It does not generally offer any guarantees of premium, death benefit, stability, or what's called a right of renewal, meaning to automatically be able to get it when sometimes down the road you might not be healthy enough to get that specific policy. It does provide some of the lowest cost protection available, and this is a cost factor that it is sometimes truly beneficial to some people. There are 1-year policies sometimes which offer a right of renewal at a slightly higher premium paid each year to reflect the higher age of the insured. There are also decreasing term plans available to cover your mortgages and loans if need be. This means the face amount of the policy decreases as the mortgage or loan obligation increases, thus moderating the premium payments. Now, there's something called a conversion. You can do a conversion to a whole life policy without medical examination, which is generally permitted with most term policies, not all, but most. Your personal life insurance needs, you need to contact a financial professional. It's really difficult to know if you have enough life insurance, or if you're not overinsured, or if you are overinsured. Well, let's go over a little bit on the life insurance needs. Do you have enough? I'm going to give some generalities. One general rule of thumb says you should buy an amount equal to 5 to 7 times your annual income. So, does that make sense? If you're worth, let's say your annual income is $100,000, theoretically you should have $500,000 to $700,000 of coverage. There's very specific ways to figure this out. We have this process called the wealth check, which helps us to determine if someone has enough insurance or not. It's a proprietary product where we use our artificial intelligence means to help us figure it out. A better method may be to implement this thing called a needs analysis. This process helps you determine the future short-term and long-term needs of you and your family. Once your needs have been identified, then you can build a plan around that. Needs analyses, they're not highly technical financial planning specifics, but when you take into account businesses, it gets a little bit more complex. Again, you can call in the office and we can talk about some of the specifics. Now, or you could talk to any financial advisor or any insurance agent, and I'm assuming they'd be happy to help you versus doing it yourself. You could do it yourself online, and there's no negative repercussions of that, at least for the lower level candidates for life insurance. Now, through very specific questions designed to identify areas of concerns, you will be able to establish your financial priorities. And let's go over some specific. What's important to you as far as life insurance? How would your objectives be affected in the event of a premature death or disability of you or your spouse? Is your current savings program adequate to accomplish your financial objectives? Those are kind of the main questions if you really think about it in the whole scheme of things. Let's go over some personal and financial perspectives. For most people, needs typically revolve around attaining and maintaining a comfortable lifestyle going forward. This often translates into, a good home, the advantages of a college education for your kids or grandkids, enough income left over for your desired activities. And last but not least, a retirement income sufficient to maintain your lifestyle when your working years are over. While saving and investing will undoubtedly be a part of your overall planning strategy, it takes time to accumulate a pool of capital. One advantage of life insurance is that it creates what's called an instant estate, which helps assure that money will be available to aid you in meeting specific goals in case of an untimely event such as a premature death. A complete needs analysis, it will help you to determine what is important in creating and protecting the lifestyle that you want for your family, or maybe even your grandkids, depending on the circumstances. Customizing life insurance with policy riders. This is kind of a hot topic. When people consider life insurance, the first thought that usually comes to mind is how much is enough. However, there are some aspects of life insurance policies that can provide very specific benefits. So there's these things called riders. They essentially allow policy owners to give themselves and their beneficiaries added protection if certain specific events happen. Among the surprisingly large number of riders that companies offer nowadays, one of them frequently utilized, it's called the waiver of premium. It's kind of a hot thing now. The waiver of premium protects you in the event that you are disabled and can no longer afford to pay your life insurance premiums. This rider has been compared to having a miniature disability policy on your life insurance contract. Not only does the insurance company pay your premiums going forward, but if you own a whole life policy, the policy cash value and dividends generally continue to grow. That's a great idea. These increasing policies and their values are really a ready source of income that can be used to help pay your expenses that can be when you're disabled or you can no longer work going forward. You can access these values through loans or surrenders depending on the circumstances. Anyway, there's also another element of a rider. Policy riders tend to take a backseat when planning insurance needs because the main focus is to obtain coverage for adequate protection. Determining adequate protection, however, should also involve customizing your policies with riders because the riders they're new and there's a lot of bang for your buck there. It's sad that we have to talk about life insurance last because that's the thing that people don't enjoy, but at the same time, it's sad because this is the end of our journey. We've gone over, as I mentioned at the outset of this 12th installment of the 12-part series, we've gone over kind of the idea, the business idea itself, to turn things from a hobby or an idea to business. Also, we've gone over kind of the roadmap, talking about pricing of the product or service. That was the second installment. The third was talking about really the business entity. What type of business entity should be used? And it really depends on the circumstances. And then the importance of artificial intelligence in the marketplace today. That's what we use. We're using it going forward quite a bit. So it helps us to help business owners succeed because artificial intelligence is the way of the future. Talked about marketing, financial elements, taxes. Entrepreneurs need to think about taxes. That's always going to be the number one biggest expense. You need to think about tax mitigation. If you're overpaying your taxes on your number one biggest expense, you're going to have issues. You don't want to overpay your taxes when there are specific things that you can do to lower your taxes, mitigate your taxes in the right way. We're not suggesting to do it illegally, immorally, etc. Don't overpay your taxes. Believe it or not, the IRS does not want you to overpay your taxes. They want you to know where your deductions are and not forget them, as we talked about in the 9th installment. Then the 10th installment, we talked about qualified plans. The 11th installment, we talked about trusts. And finally here, we're talking about insurance. Now, it's been a pleasure to spend these 12 weeks talking with you about these issues that help entrepreneurs. If you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call, 888-808-8278. Also, check us out on the web if you need any help. We have a lot of articles, a lot of free content for people who might not be able to afford some of our premium services. And that can be found www.vastsolutionsgroup.com. Because you've lasted this long, hopefully you've listened to the whole series. I have a book, brand new book, The Entrepreneur's Manifesto, a collection of smart financial advice. Email einstein@vastsolutionsgroup.com and put in the subject line book with your address in the body of the message. We will send you a free copy of my book, The Entrepreneur's Manifesto, a collection of smart financial advice. Once again, Kenner French of vastsolutionsgroup.com. It's indeed been a pleasure. Hopefully in some way we've added some value and you will be able to walk away from listening to this podcast, this series, knowing that you're going to be better off. Once again, thank you very much for listening.